welcome back to Behind the Pen. I'm your host, Karina, award-winning author of 14 books, podcaster, YouTuber. I have my radio show, Author Assist, on the Artist First Radio Network, and I run Author Assist, which helps authors market and promote their books and everything in between. Today, I have my guest, and she's all the way from, I think, the US. I'll double check that in a moment. Lauren Robbins, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Katrina.
And it's from the US. You are in the US.
Yes, I'm in outside of Boston, Mass. Karina. Sorry, I meant to say Karina.
That's okay. I nearly said your name wrong as well, but we get, things happen. So yes, US. So I was right. Good. That's good. I didn't hear much of an accent. That's why I wasn't sure exactly where you were from.
Well, a lot of people do say that they can catch the Massachusetts accent. Depends if I say park the car, Harvard Yard, things like that. Or park. I got to park, or I'm going to Boston, and people will pick it up once in a while. But I don't have the real strong Boston accent like my husband does, where he was born and raised in the Boston area. So that's really,
that's
people
really
pick that
Boston,
up more out of state.
Well, Behind the Pen is a YouTube show and an audio podcast for anyone who works with a pen. You could be a musician, an artist, a director, a writer, an author, an editor. Have I left anyone out? Illustrator. So what is it you do, Lauren?
Well, I do a lot of things, but I am a professional, tested and endorsed psychic medium. I'm an author of a book called Who Are You? Are you a psychic medium or other spiritual worker? And I am also I'm a spiritual teacher. So I actually teach people who they are, if they are naturally gifted, because a lot of people, kind of like with me, I didn't look for it or aspire to be a professional psychic medium. I've had it since I was 2. There's no medical documentation that I died, but I was very, very sickly as a child at the age of 2. And I developed permanent double vision at the age of 2. And I began seeing into the spiritual world then. So
wow.
I wrote the book. It's like I call it a class in a book. I also write a lot of classes and teach a lot of classes, but the book was meant to be really like a textbook almost for people that have a natural ability, that think that they're crazy. Are they imagining things? And like, that was me my entire life until I had it finally validated that I was a psychic medium and all these other spiritual worker types when I was in my 40s.
This is, I want to know, first of all, how can you be an award-winning psychic? How does that work? Well,
I've gone through a lot of testings to be endorsed, and so for me, especially with this work, it is such a stigma. So many people think you're crazy, there's so many skeptics out there. So for myself to put myself out there publicly, I decided to be tested and endorsed. I was first invited by a platform called Ariel, where they have a bunch of professional psychic mediums, and they tested me twice through different people I never met before. I had to read them over the phone, didn't see their face, nothing. So I was, tested and endorsed by them. And then followed by that was, actually before that was Voices Across the Veil, where I'm a tested and endorsed afterlife research medium. So they tested me first. 2 scientists had me be tested by different people that I had never met again. It was over the phone. I didn't see the face. They didn't come in person. And I first became a research medium for them like 2013. So kind of going forward, I've gone through 8 testings between Voices Across the Veil, then it ended up being Ariel, then it was Best American Psychics as both a psychic and a medium. And then what happened was people were finding me. Like, I wasn't looking to be like in the limelight, but people were finding me, and they're just like Kev's Best list. I was interviewed last year by Google News, and all of a sudden they just named me #1 psychic for Kev's Best list. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. And Ariel, year after year, they have put me in as like one of their best psychic mediums, most accurate. And I didn't look for it, I didn't ask for it. So it just came because I think people started realizing that, I was doing this work because I really love to do it. It's not like a big money maker for me. I actually have a career that I've been in for 30 years. and I've had my practice for 14. So I do it part-time.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my slice of heaven. But I think most people realize I'm not after like the big bucks or, to be in the limelight kind of thing. But the more people push me in the media, like producers and things like that, I had to kind of come out and start talking about it publicly, because, I needed to, because I have to help more people before I'm gone. I'm not going to be here forever. So that's what prompted me to write the book, to teach other people, hey, you're not crazy, you're not this and that. And the awards just kind of came on their own. I was very, very fortunate to get them.
The path that you were supposed to take, your journey, no one knows when it's going to end, but your path is to help people as being a psychic, but also, like you said, for these people that know that they don't feel they're crazy. They know they have some kind of a talent or a gift, or they can open themselves up and receive, but it still scares them because they don't understand it. And so you writing the book and you being there for them and teaching them and telling them that, it's nothing scary about it. It's probably the most light and spiritual thing that could happen to someone, to have an experience like that. I think it would be terrifying if it happened to me, but for someone who's already experienced stuff and feelings, even if it's just feelings, that could mean that they have the ability, and you can actually get them to open up more and work with it. So your path is set, and like you say, you want to help as many people as you can while you're around, because that's what your path is. There are skeptics, they're watching now, or they're listening to the audio, so I have to ask you, speaking with me the last, I don't know, 5 minutes, whatever, do you get anything at all from me?
Well, what I do get from you, well, I want to go back on 1 second if I can. I do want to say, like, people are really scared about their abilities. That was me. I wanted to pick up on that if I could tell you that real quick. And I am Catholic. I was born and raised Catholic. I actually started talking to God at the age of 8.
Wow.
Before, like, I was talking to spirit at the age of 2, but I started talking to God at age 8 and in church. And I said, why do I have this? Plus I had the double vision from the age of 2 on, from being really sickly, that I lost the muscle in my left eye. So I'm considered the double visioned medium. That's kind of like my brand,
wow.
kind of, because I've seen into both worlds since the age of 2. But I was terrified too. Like, I couldn't really talk to anybody about it. And as I got older, I was dealing like with my eyesight and trying to like get through school, never mind like telling people, hey, I have all this stuff going on.
Wow.
My parents did know and everything, but it was really scary. And that's why I did write the book, because when I teach people about their gifts, it doesn't have to be scary. And in the book, I basically talk about the different types of people that are gifted, like psychics, mediums, angel workers, empaths, sensitives that deal with paranormal, and healers. And they're all different types, but we channel information, receive information from different spiritual forms. So it's not just one thing. Like, people don't know like the difference between a spirit guide and an angel, or a guardian angel, or deceased loved one. They know, but they don't know like who's actually talking to them when they have one of these kinds of gifts. And that's what I talk about in the book. But in terms of you, there is definitely a fatherly presence that I have for you, like very strongly. Like, he's like, you're my child, you're my child, you're my child. Although I don't feel like your dad's really gone. I don't feel like he's really gone. Is he passed?
He did, yeah, not so long ago.
He is? Okay, because I'm hearing like there's another, like a step up, because I'm getting like a step up from him. Dad's not coming in yet, and I'm not going to switch it to make it your dad, because I'm just not like that. I am like, if I'm going to get something, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to switch it to make people happy. But there is another man, he's saying like step up, that would be like a grandfather type, that's coming in first. And so he's basically telling me like he was like a father type too, not just because it's the grandfather, but he helped raise you. Like he said, he was very involved in like raising you, and very involved in raising you. Would that make any sense to you?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Because there's a male that's saying like a grandfatherly type that's saying involved with raising you. Would this make any sense to you? That would not be your own dad. He'd be older. He's saying like he's very involved, like he was a fatherly type. He would have considered you like his daughter. He's being very adamant about that.
There was someone I was very, very close to that passed. We known each other for many, many years. His wife and him, they were like my second parents, even though me being over in Greece and then living in England, I didn't see them very often. We didn't communicate very often, but when we were together, you know, we were very close, and they passed not so long ago, and quite suddenly. Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that, but I want you to know it is, because I do feel like it's him, because he's saying like he was like, because I feel like your real father, your biological father, may have passed a while ago. So this man kind of like took on that role, or this man was just, he always knew like you needed not assistance, but like he just wanted to be like a fatherly type to you. He kind of took you under his wing when you did see him, the one that you're talking about. Because I do feel like, and there's something about 74. Was he 74 when he passed, or would he have been 74 now?
I actually don't know. I'll have to write that down. I don't know how old he was. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But and there's something with an F in his name. Was there an F at all, first or last name?
No.
Okay, because he's saying something about an F, or he's associating himself with an F. Would there be anybody in his family with an F name? His wife, children, anything like that with an F? He's saying F over and over again. Where did he live?
F. Where? He had dog kennels, and they used to do boarding and also take the strays, and him and his wife run that for many, many years.
That there's an F. He's saying F over and over again. It means something. I don't know if that would make any sense to you. And that's hard, like when you receive, to actually be able to validate. But he's saying like fatherly figure, it was not your dad's, like step up, like, and he's saying like you were my daughter. And even if it wasn't a grandfather, he's like saying like you were like his daughter. So he's saying like step up, meaning like it's not your dad, it's a different level. And he's saying like he like was very, very involved with your life. He's talking about an F over and again. So I didn't know if that meant like where he lived, like what town or province or country or whatever. And he's talking about 14 too. So I don't know if he passed 2014 or 14 years ago. He's saying 14, and he was also saying 74. So you'll have to let me know if we talk again, if those make sense to you, because what they do is they give me clusters of information that only you're going to know. But it's hard, like you're sitting there trying to think about the show, not thinking about what I'm giving you for information.
No, not at all. I'm thinking FF. Now, where could that come from? He just had a 1 year. They just had their 1 year death anniversary. So it's quite. It's
almost something happened to him when he was like driving or something. Like something happened to him when he was. I don't know if there's something about driving. I'm hearing driving, and but I feel like your dad's trying to come in, because I can't breathe with your father. Like I definitely can't breathe. Like I feel like dad's coming in right now, because I'm saying I can't breathe. Like there's something on my chest, but it also hurts like this cardiac with your father. Like your father's saying I can't breathe. He's trying to jump in in front of the he's like I can't breathe, and he's going like I actually feel their pain because I'm a physical medium. He's like I can't. He's like I'm here too. I just want you to know that I'm here. But he's giving me the breathing issue. Does that make sense of the breathing? I'm sorry. And he's saying 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Were there 4 children? Did he pass 4 years ago or anything with 4? I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you cry.
Nice. I just want.
He's okay.
Let him know that I love him and I miss him so much.
He said he knows. He said he talks to you all the time. He said that you hear him. You hear him. Does that make sense? You hear him? And you can say no. I don't need you to be like, oh yeah. But you can say no. But he's saying he talks to you. So I'm hearing.
Maybe it's in my sleep, in my dreams. Maybe.
Okay, he's saying clairaudience, like you can hear him. So do you hear him ever in your mind though when you're awake, Karina? No, yeah. No. He's saying he said he talks to you you're awake. So if you talk to him, wait for an answer, because he said he is speaking to you. You have clairaudience. Like I teach people, I tell people what they have if they have something. Like all people on this earth plane, you don't have to be a developing medium. You don't have to go out there and do it professionally. You don't even have to be like a person that's in this book, but everybody in the earth plane, we're all connected through our energy. Like we know when there's something wrong with us, for instance. I'm just telling you this real quick. We know when there's something wrong with our loved one when they're alive. We know when there's something wrong with our kids or our spouse or our parents. Like we just get that feeling and we'll call them, and sure enough, like they're really sick that day, or they were really nauseous that day, or they got in trouble at school or whatever. And then we're like, oh, okay, that's our psychic insight, which is very normal for everybody. But when people pass away, we still have that connection to them. And so maybe you can still feel them. You can still feel them. But what they do is they work through your senses instead. So in this case, like he's working through your senses, but he's like, you hear me, you hear me. And he's like, he has spoken to you, but you thought you were nuts. Does that make any sense? Like where you've talked, because you talked to him out loud.
No.
He's saying, you hear me, you hear me, you hear me. So tell me about, I'm not trying to switch it, but he's like, you're hearing him. So how are you hearing him? Do you hear him clearly in your dreams?
No, maybe in my dreams, but I don't remember the dream. And so maybe that's when we're communicating, because
he's telling me very clearly that you're going to be able to hear him when you're awake. So I'm going to do, do we have a few minutes to do a little test for you right now?
Of course.
All right. If you don't mind.
No, not
you're a busy
at all.
lady. So I want you just to close, and everybody can do this too if they're watching this. So you just close your eyes for a minute and take a deep breath in. And you want to protect yourself. So you want to say, I ask the white light of God.
I ask the white light of God.
To please protect me.
To please protect me.
While I connect to my Father.
While I connect to my Father.
Thank you, amen.
Thank you, amen.
And now some people aren't religious, so you can say, I ask the white light of the divine to protect me while I connect you. You always want to say the relationship to you. And then say, as long as they are within the white light, because you want to make sure you're asking for them specifically, nothing else. And don't ever do it without asking for protection. Now, the next thing I want you to do is just like visualize him in your mind, the way that you would have remembered him. Your face, his eyes, his nose, his mouth. It's really, really important. When you see him, just nod the best you can. Sometimes people have a hard time with visualization. Just think of a picture if you can't do it that way. And because he's telling me, I talked to you. Maybe you do not have this on yet, or you're not paying attention to it yet, but I want you to listen to this. So pay attention. So I'm going to just have you now, I'm going to have you ask a question, but then wait for the response. The response can come in. You either hear his voice or you get a thought, and you got to trust that thought. So I'm going to ask you to ask him, how are you? So say it out loud.
How are you?
I heard the answer. Did you?
No.
Fine, fine, fine. He's saying fine. So trust it. Just ask one more question, because he is here and he said that he's talking to you. I can hear him in my head. And I know you're probably trusting it and you're like on the spot. And I'm like, Johnny on the spot, but just say, are you okay?
Are you okay, Daddy?
He said he gave you the answer, and it can feel like a push also. It can feel like a push. He said, yes. Did you hear that?
No.
Okay. So what I want you to do, because I'm going to tell you, he's telling me you have clairaudience. You can hear him. You can hear him. And I know I'm doing this to you, and I'm putting you right on the spot right now. And like, if you're thinking about the show, probably questions you have to ask me, but I want you to practice that. So you always want to make sure you disconnect. Like I'm actually giving you something I teach in one of my classes called Until We Meet Again. I teach that class like live, and it's going to be recorded, but just say, I asked to disconnect right now from my dad.
I asked to disconnect right now from my dad.
And say, thank you for coming through to me, Dad.
Thank you for coming through to me, Dad.
And I will talk to you again soon.
And I will talk to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you. So the thing is, you don't want to keep that open, trying to talk to them and stuff for a long period of time. It makes them really tired. It makes you really tired too, because you're not sure what you're doing. But like work on that like every day, because you will start to get some answers. He's telling you have clairaudience. He's saying it over and over and over again. You just have to wait to hear it. But,
Wow.
and I know it's hard because you're like trying to do your thing and I'm like, I kind of
No,
put
it's,
you on the spot.
no, I tell you what, my daughter, she is so open to things like this. She's 17, and she can feel things, she can see things. It scares her, and I've never not taken her seriously. I've always listened to her and what have you. She walked into the room one day and says, "I can smell Granddad." And
Oh, that's beautiful.
I said, you know, I knew straight away what that meant, that he's here visiting. And because she's so open to it, she didn't have a problem with it. I couldn't smell anything. And I said, "What does it smell like?" And she said, "His bathroom and his bedroom." I said, "That's his aftershave."
That's
And
that's very common with people that are gifted. They can smell. Wow. She sounds like she's really gifted. She's smelling and she's seeing.
yeah.
So she would be a developing medium, or probably already medium at that age. Like at the age of 17, I was already pretty developed. But the thing is, it won't leave you alone. It's going to keep coming and coming and coming until you do something with it, whether it's to help yourself or even help other people that need it, or become a professional in the industry. Like it would not leave me alone until I end up helping people.
No, you carry on.
Like, "Are you going to come back to me? Are you
Fascinating.
going to come back to me?" Your dad's like, "I want to talk." So he's talking about 4. What is 4? Did he pass in April, the 4th of the month? Are you one of 4 children? He's talking about 4 over and over again. 4. What's 4?
Don't know. It's
Sorry.
well, there were 3 of us, 3
Okay.
children.
Was there any miscarriages or anything like about, or anything that had happened when they lost children?
Not that I know of, no.
He's talking about 4 kids.
4
He's saying 4,
children.
4, 4. I mean, he's going over and over 4. So sometimes
Oh,
if there's
right, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
You
I
don't have
got
to get into it if it's detailed, if it's
it.
private, but he's saying 4,
Yeah.
but he's trying to identify himself, but he's saying like the breathing, he's going back to labored breathing. He wants to talk about that. And it feels like he really can't breathe. Like he's struggling to breathe. I actually hear him like there's some coughing too. I feel like the coughing as well as the breathing. So like it sounds like it was phlegmy at one point. Does this make sense with almost like there's something in the chest besides?
Yeah, he had stage 4 lung cancer.
Okay.
And I didn't.
I'm sorry.
So it's okay. I didn't.
He didn't tell anybody though. For a long time.
No, he knew that there was nothing they could do, and so he wanted to prolong his life as long as he could. And so he did all the chemo, 3 lots of chemo. He did radiotherapy. He had, and then when it got so bad and I couldn't get over to him,
he passed at that time. I'm sorry, honey.
I wanted to see him before he passed, but I didn't make it in time. So, and then with the coronavirus, the thing that upset me the most is that he was stuck at home by himself going through stage 4 lung cancer, and nobody could hug him. And I wish I'd been there.
He said he understands. He understands. It's okay. He's like, I understand. It's okay. Like he managed. But there's something about not telling anybody about it in the beginning. Was there something like he had some symptoms before? Because I just feel like in the beginning he didn't tell anybody for a while. Like he actually had some symptoms prior to being diagnosed. Does that make any sense?
No, I think when
there's something
he
about
told
didn't tell
us,
anybody. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
when he told us about having pains, and then went to the doctor just because he had pains in his chest. That was it, and that was the first time that the symptom turned up. And all the way through his chemo, he didn't have the after effects of chemo. And we were over there with him, me and my 2 daughters, for 3 months. And he was like, there was nothing wrong with him. And we went out every day and we made memories.
Oh, he's really happy that you had that time.
So,
and he's talking about May also. There's something about May. Does it make any sense to you?
We were over the summertime, so it was about, I can't remember the months, but I think it probably around about there. But yeah, we did everything. Every day we went out somewhere and did something, and we had lots of amazing memories and photos. And then, of course, I had to come back to Greece, and that's when the only time we could get in touch was on webcam. You know, I sing, and my daughters are amazing singers, and we did a karaoke show for him.
Oh.
And that was the last time.
He loved it.
That was the last time we saw him on camera. Yeah.
But he doesn't want, you know, he doesn't want you to feel bad. There's something about, he keeps saying it again, didn't tell anyone, didn't tell anyone. Does that make sense to anything else besides his cancer? You said that didn't make sense with the cancer. He keeps repeating it, didn't tell anyone. More like maybe complaining about something, or I don't know what it is.
I don't think I mean, if he was going through a lot of pain, if he was going through anything, he wasn't the sort of person to tell anyone about it. You know, he would act, he's so strong, he would act like, you know, there was nothing wrong with him. And so he didn't want to impose, maybe, or didn't want people to worry about him. Exactly.
Possibly, because he's like, didn't tell anyone, because he's like that. No, that wasn't right. Like when I said he didn't tell anybody about the cancer, and you confirmed that wasn't correct. Like, that's one thing. I won't put something where it's not supposed to be, but he keeps saying it. So I think he was trying to say something else with that, because it's going to be only things that you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And there's something also with the teeth in the mouth. Is there was there also a tube at all, or something like that? Something's bothering his mouth. Does that make any sense?
That would have been at the time when he was in the hospice and taking his journey. He would have had the tube helping him breathe. Yeah. Because
I feel like something's bothering my mouth, but it also feels like it's going down my throat. So he's making me feel that too. So like it's stuff that they're only gonna tell me what they experienced. He said, but when he did pass, it was very beautiful, very beautiful. Like very beautiful. It was. They
said at the hospice it was a quick Passover, and he was in no pain. And my brother was there at the time when he passed. My sister.
But I do want to tell you what he's telling me, if that's okay. He's saying like he saw it was just beautiful white. And he heard, like I hear like a lot of times what they actually experienced during their journey or their passing. And like sometimes they see their loved ones around them and their spirits lifting or what have you. But he's saying he heard this noise. It was beautiful, like angels just surrounding him. It was just all beautiful. It was white. He felt very comforted to go. He's saying like he saw his mom. I saw my mom. But there was something too with the mother, because she had passed a long time. I don't know if she had a long life, but I don't know. But he saw his mom too. But he heard this. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful, comforting experience for him. So he wasn't like afraid. I can tell like when they pass away, if they were like, oh my God, where am I? You know, He just went. He was ready to go.
He was ready.
Yeah, it was really beautiful for him. And then he saw his mom saying, come with me, come. So it was very, very beautiful and peaceful for him. But there's something with his mother too, because I don't know when she passed. I'm not getting when she passed, but I do feel like that was a long time, something about a long time. Like he really missed his mom. Like, I don't feel like she had a full life. Does that make sense? Did she?
No, she was old when she passed.
She was? Okay. Because I'm getting like, there's something about.
It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
How old was she?
Oh gosh,
I'm not getting
no idea. I'm terrible when it comes to dates and ages and numbers.
Like something like she was. I don't know. I'm hearing like wasn't a full life, so I don't know if that means like age or if it just meant more like health issues or something else. But I'm hearing wasn't a full life.
She got Alzheimer's at the end, and didn't recognize anyone before she passed.
Okay, I think maybe that's what she's trying to say, because like wasn't a full life. And ironically, I was going to tell you, I didn't know if it was your dad or somebody else, but I was getting pressure in my head too, which may have been like she was trying to come in because she was making a connection through him saying, you know, I took him over there. Then also I'm hearing like wasn't a full life. And he was so happy to reconnect with her. But I had a pressure in my head, and I didn't know if that belonged to your dad or someone else, but I think
No,
your
that
grandmother
would
was
have
already
been
starting to come through.
grandma, yeah.
Yes. And then there was something like I don't know if it was like the last 5 years of her life or something, that she had like the Alzheimer's or something going on, but it's a lot to take in. But there was definitely someone here. She hadn't identified if she was a male or female, but somebody else was coming in. I didn't know if it belonged to your dad, but I was feeling the pressure. So that's what happens. Like when they start, one will come in and then another one will jump in, and I'm like, okay, I have to differentiate who this spirit loved one is. Because when I do a session, that happens. I don't stay with like one person, and then we'll hop on, and then another one will hop on. So
it's been mind-blowing.
So keep that part in it.
Astounding. One of the most unbelievable interviews that I've done. And I have spoken to other mediums and psychics before, and tarot card readers and what have you. And wow, what an experience. You are amazing. You are a treasure. I hope you carry on doing what you're doing, because you have the light, you have that power, and you are giving back what you've been given, helping others that need it, as well as helping others move on, and to help those that have never got over a passing of somebody, giving those messages over like you do. And it's just, I could go on and on and on, because you're not just a psychic, award-winning and proven psychic and medium. You are that, you're that, you're that, you're that. You're like a walking angel. You have so much power in your fingertips. You have so much power that you're just giving it out to whoever needs it. And I feel so blessed that I've met you, and that we talked, that this happened, and that we actually got together and made this episode, which for me is what I call destiny. I think it was meant to be.
You're so kind. Thank you. And I do love my work, and I've gone through a lot of pain and lost myself, but the only thing that's really helped me to get through, I've lost a lot of close people to me, and relationships that were painful to have to separate from, where I had to protect myself and try to help the other people to a point that you can't help people anymore. But the only thing that's really actually gotten me through, Karina, is like my work. Like it's gotten me through, like it heals me too, to help other people. And, and I'm really blessed to be able to do it. And I know that I won't be here forever. And so like, I'm just trying to pass down what I can teach others, like through my books and my classes before I'm gone. Like, and eventually I'll probably do a medium mentorship program when I get older and can't do it anymore for people that are developing, because it's not a curse. It's really a beautiful gift to be able to like help people and know like they are still around. They really are here, and we just can't see them, and a little tip, I am an earth angel, which I never even realized I was, but after reading a book about them, I realized that I basically in human form run by the angelic realm to learn things and go through a lot in life and help other people.
I felt that. I believe that, just from what we've gone through, what we've talked about, what we've seen and heard. I believe that you are an angel.
It's not one thing I want to really talk about psychic, because the mediums are hard enough already, but like people are like, oh yeah, she's whacked. She's saying she's like an earth angel, but
no,
I really believe it. If you look up what they are, like we have like a lot of pain, we have a lot of trauma with abusive people, with people that are drug addicts and basically drug addicts and alcoholics and all kinds, and we're just constantly trying to save people. And it ends up being like, I fled from some really bad situations in my life. I'm very lucky I'm still here, but then I end up finding my own earth angel, which ended up being my second husband, who's just like, he saves me every day, like just
That's amazing.
his support and his love, and I help him too. So we're like this great
I
team
believe
together.
everything happens for a reason. I believe you're with that person for a reason. My husband, he's my soulmate, and I know that in my heart and my
Yes,
soul.
he is. For a
He
freebie, yes, he is.
Yeah, thank you.
All
And I
right,
met
thank you so
him
much.
after breaking up with a 4-year relationship and coming on holiday to Greece. And so if I hadn't broken up and I hadn't gone to Greece, for me, it's always been, this is what should have happened. This is, and what I'm doing now with helping other authors and getting people's books out and getting their names out and letting people know about people like you. I feel like this is my path. This is what I was supposed to have done from all the other jobs that I've had throughout my life so far. I feel like I'm on the right path now, and it's amazing when you know that you're doing the right thing and that it's helping people, and it makes you feel good because you know it's what you were born to do, what you were put on earth to do. So let's just finish off, Lauren, with where can people contact you? Where can they find out about your book? Are you on social media? And if anybody wanted to book with you and have a sit-in over the phone or through the camera, how can they do that?
Okay, sure. So I am, I'm Medium. If they want to find me on social media, Facebook, it's Medium Lauren Robbins. Instagram is Medium Lauren Robbins. On Twitter, it's Robbins _Medium. And my website URL that goes to my old website, because it was very complicated before with an Italian last name, but it's mediumlaurenrobbins.com. So I try to make everything like unison across the board. And I do office sessions in Massachusetts, but I also do remote by phone or phone, obviously, if it's like within the US, or Zoom. I do have a lot of international, out of the country clients that I work with, and they do have to request a session on my site. Right now I'm booked out like several months solid, but I have an assistant that, I have an assistant that, well, I mean, I'm very grateful. I mean, it's been COVID and everything in the economy, and, there's going to be inflation, but I've always tried to be very fair with my pricing. That I think people know that. And so I have an assistant now that I hired like 6 months ago, and she's great. She works with people and books them, but she gets back to people pretty quickly and finds the time. And of course I do offer some emergency sessions too, but it's more like there's going to be an additional fee if I got to come in like when I'm not working. But
when they go over to your website, that's when they can get information of how to try and get booked up with you.
Right, exactly. And my website also, there's a page, it's called Who Are You Book. And it does talk about my book. I have a page exclusively for that, but the book is on Amazon, but also people can buy the first edition that I had. There was a couple small things I caught that I'm a perfectionist that the editor didn't catch. And so I have a first version that is less expensive that people can buy like directly through me, or they can get it through Amazon. But like I said, it's like a class in a book. It's not meant to be like this long thing, but I do offer exercises in it. So if you go through a particular chapter and say, oh my God, that sounds like me, that sounds like me, then you can do the exercise. And if it comes to you easily, you definitely are gifted. And I take it a step further, because I also, from that book, every 2 or 3 months, I offer a live online through Zoom evaluation on those spiritual types. And my next one is going to be about mediums, ironically, and it's going to be Wednesday, July 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's only like $50 a person. And I only take like so many people, and I go over what a medium is, how I receive information as a medium, and then I basically put them to the test. I pair them up with people they've never met, and I'm like, okay, so this is how you have to protect yourself. What are you getting from those people? And then I get the feedback, and I'm like, I tell people, like, yeah, I think you're there, or you're developing, or I don't really think you're that. You're more of a psychic. And it kind of gives people an idea, like, okay, I want to take additional training on this, or okay, I really am, and that's where they want to end. So even if you're a psychic or medium, doesn't mean that you're supposed to go out to the world and go do it professional like I do. Some people just need that validation. Hey, I'm not nuts.
That they're not going crazy. Okay.
Right.
Write a book for the skeptics. That's what I would love.
That's exactly, you know, and I will tell you, that's the truth. Like, I have actually had people buy them to give it to somebody that they thought was gifted as a gift, or sometimes for themselves, but also for the skeptics. But it's funny because some of the skeptics actually get connections too. But I'll always say, I say the biggest skeptics are really male. And I think it's just the way that they are brought up. And because the women will always say, that's a sign, that's a symbol, I'm getting a message. And guys go, that's a coincidence. And they just sit it down. So I always can tell, but most of, I have to say, I hate to say it, but like 80 to 90% of the skeptics are the males. They really are.
So that's what you've got to do. Your next book has got to be for the skeptics, and they're going to read it, and you're going to change people's opinions and minds.
Well, my next book actually is already half written, but it's been in the writing for 10 years. It's called The Double Vision Medium Through My Eyes, because it's going to be all the stories of the profound stories of the people that I saved, and the synchronicities of, you know, even ironically, my firefighter husband, that he's in my town, and I have come across like people that have come to my office that didn't know they were connected to him because he was on the scene of their death, the family's death, this person that died. And I feel like impressions through him, and it ends up being like I'm connecting now to these people that he was on the call for. It's like there's some stories for that too. It's pretty like intense.
How far are you into this book now? When do you think it will be published, available?
I'm working really this year on like trying to build and get, like, I have a lot of classes, but put them in uniform, like, you know, in sequences, like, all right, this is for personal development for people who want to build their skills for their own reading or connect to their own loved ones and things like this. And then I'm trying to build, like, those were already done, but I'm trying to build the other classes where it's more mentorship for the people that really want to develop and help people. So I'm trying to work on that this summer, and they'll probably be picking up working on the rest of that book maybe in the fall, if I can, at the beginning of 2022. So I'll definitely let you know.
That's wonderful. I wish you a huge success with everything you do. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, Karina.